Hello everyone, today we will deal with such a task. It is neither easy nor difficult. You probably already have some idea what could come out of it. Let's think about how to do this task first. Let's analyze what could have gone wrong here. For example, let's imagine such a contraction. We take this number and this one and reduce it by 3. We get 1, then we perform the remaining operations, 18 by 236. I deliberately omitted division by 1 because division by 1 gives us the same number as before and the same with multiplication. So we have something like this. Let's leave our type here more visible. Next, let's imagine another type of contraction. For example, we will reduce 3 from 18 again by 3, we will get 6, and for example, we will divide it by 3 by 2, which is also by 6. And 6 divided 6 is 1, so we could get something like this. However, I will immediately tell you that this is wrong. Then what could we do? Then what could we do with such an operation? Multiply 3 by 2, we would get 6. If we divided 18 by 6, we would get 3, and 3 divided by 3 in the end, again 1. As I mentioned, this is already a bad task. In order to solve this task correctly, you need to remember about the so-called order of operations. First, we always do the so-called operations in brackets. Here we do not have any brackets. So, of operations, we can skip this operation. The next thing we do is the so-called exponentiation and square root. Exponentiation looks like this. We take any number to the nth power and calculate the result. However, here again in our operation there are no such operations, so also we ignore it. Next in the order of operations is multiplication and division. And so in our operation there is definitely both multiplication and division. They can be performed in any order, but always, from left to right. We will do the same here in our task. So we should perform these operations in order. Additionally, I would like to mention that both division and multiplication are practically the same operation. Let's remember, for example, that if we have a number to divide, in this way we can always write it as multiplication. But multiplication by the opposite, for example, in this way, or if we had to divide 10 by 0.5 or 10 by 1/2. We could write it as 10 by 2, so pay attention that division. Despite the fact that we distinguish them, the operation is practically the same as multiplication, and we can skip division, always writing it as multiplication. So let's move on. After division and multiplication, there is addition and subtraction, but in our operation it is nowhere. Let's analyze what we have in our operation. First of all, we encounter division, then there is multiplication, and additionally all this is in a fraction. This means that the final operation we will perform is division by 3. Why do I say that final? Because this is a fraction line and it is a fraction. In order to solve such a fraction, we need to have both the numerator and the denominator. First, we have to perform these operations at the top. so that this numerator, so that just one number remains there at the top, so that we can possibly reduce this fraction or perform this division. Let's start working according to this arrow. 18 divide 3, this is 6. Then we have multiplication by 2. And into 3 in such a situation when in the upper part of the fraction in the numerator we have only multiplication, we can reduce the denominator with any of the numbers. And I recommend such an operation. We will reduce by 3 here, we get 1. Here we get 2, then we perform multiplication. That, as you can see, much easier than what was previously, although the previous one was also easy. The result is 4 divided by 1, which is simply 4. For those reluctant who do not want to follow my advice, let's multiply 6 by 2 as before and divide it by 3. The result is also 4. You can also reduce this fraction simply by 3. Here are 4, and we also have the 4. Thanks for watching my video. Congratulations to those who got 4 right away. You probably go to school. You probably still deal with such equations on a daily basis. For those who didn't succeed, don't give up. I'll post more such videos. You'll have a chance to improve. What else for those who also failed? Let's say for some other reason. Don't worry about it either. After all, you had math quite a long time ago. Maybe 20 years ago. Check in here sometimes. I'll remind you of a few rules regarding operations, and you'll definitely manage next time. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Once more, leave a likes. This is very important for my channel. Subscribe if you want more such mathematical puzzles. And of course, I encourage you to support my channel by purchasing appropriate subscriptions. Thanks again. See you in the next video. Bye.